Hi, I'm the Nomad Producer with StartProducingMusic.com. If you ever wondered how handpans are built, this is your lucky day. We're going to tour around one of the most innovative workshops around the globe. I've actually spent almost a year working in this workshop and learned a lot from these guys, and I'm really excited to share this place with you. So without further ado, let's meet Jonathan, the founder of this company. Nomad Producer! How are you doing, man? So much fun being here. Thank you for having us.
My pleasure.
I'd love to see how you guys build handpans nowadays.
Do it!
Let's do it.
Do it! Follow me, people at home. So this is where the first steps are, where we take this flat piece of metal and then we form it into a shell. And the technique we use to form it into a shell is using water pressure. It's called hydroforming. We take this piece of metal, we put it under this really thick and heavy plate. The water is being injected from the top and the plate is being formed through this hole downwards. So in the end the sphere is perfect. Here we have the shell after it's been hydroformed. We actually cut already the rim on this shell because there was more material here, more of the metal, which was holding the shell like tight. You can actually see this machine, it's just behind you. After we have the shell with us, we put it here and now it needs to be hammered. Why do we hammer it? It's to release stress within the metal, because after we have formed the material, we have put a lot of stress inside the metal, and there is two ways how we release this stress. One is to hammer the material and to basically break all the tensions inside it, and the other way is to put it in the oven in high temperature to release all the tension. So in this place we put the shell, we close the bolts, and we hammer using a pneumatic hammer. We used to hammer by hand, but that's a lot of work and it will eventually also break your body, and today we have this, which is also quite intense, but but maybe a little bit less.
So I've spent a lot of time in this room.
Yes, yeah.
I used to have a press in it, but now I see there's another oven.
Today we have this oven, and this oven is used to, like I said before, to release the tension within the material. After we have hammered it and pressed it and formed it with the water, the material is full of tension and we want to release that. So we put the shells here at very high temperatures, around 500 degrees, for a long period of time, usually for a whole night. And then the tension is being released. Then we hammer the metal again, and we also release the tension again. We do this a few times. Yeah, if you want, I can open it up and you can see a little bit what's going on actually. So you see, there is a lot of heat coming out. Woo, that's hot!
And then from this room, does it move to the room next door?
Yeah.
Or?
Actually, let's go there.
Yeah.
If the cameraman will not break the whole workshop. So this is the tuning room, one of the tuning rooms. This is where we already have the shape of the instrument, but there is no sound, because still the note is still full of tension and they're not tuned. So what do? We start to hammer with many different hammers, very precise strikes over the tone field to tune the fundamental, the harmonics, the overtone, all the frequencies that are basically in the material. And the way we do it is that we place the shell here in this ring, put it inside, we close it with bolts, and we have all kind of tuners which are basically telling us what frequencies the material is at right now. Each field has a few frequencies inside of it. You need to play with the field all the time to be able to get to that perfect balance where all the frequencies are in tune.
After you tune the upper shell, can you already play with the instrument, or do you have to have the lower one in order for it to resonate and to just sustain longer?
Of course, this is like creating an acoustic chamber. You know, in a guitar you can have a piece of wood that there's just strings on it, but it will not really resonate. It will be very little volume and the sustain will be quite small. So you need to close the instrument.
How many notes can you fit in one instrument? Well,
I think actually the maximum we did was 26 notes, but in that instrument there was no opening on the bottom. It was two top shells glued together. The instrument where we did have an opening on the bottom, we had 22 notes, which is like 3.5 octaves or something, like a lot of notes to explore.
So after the two shells are tuned, you glue them and put them in this room, right?
Yeah. The way that we connected the two shells is using a special glue for a metal, and then we clamp them with these clamps for about a week. Basically, the glue takes 3 to 6 months until it's completely hardened. But 1 week is usually the minimum that we do it, so the shells are already attached at high tension.
Right, and after it's glued, you go over the instrument again and fine-tune it?
Yeah, because after we glue it, the whole tension in the instrument is changing. And then all the tone fields, I mean, this was...
Sounds amazing.
Sounds amazing, yeah. This was once tuned, actually. Like, before it was glued, it was perfectly in tune. But then after we glued it, everything kind of went out of tune, the harmonics and everything. So you need to tune it again, which you actually do by, there is the hole on the bottom, you take a hammer and you put your hand inside, and then you hammer from the inside, and you can't really see what you're doing. Right. That is kind of the most complicated part of the process. So let's go to the laser room. Here basically we make the engraving. This is just a test shell, but you see we put the Yishama logo, we write Yishama, we put the serial number, the name of the scale, and the type of material. So this is a stainless material. 1.0 is the thickness of the material.
Thank you so much for having us. We're gonna go around and sample a bit of the workshop and see what we come up with. Make sure you go into Yishama.com for more information, and thanks again. Kapara.